Here we go. Here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome on the stream. Today we are having a special stream, a special format with a special guest. As you see, today I am joined by Bencb. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, me too. I'm absolutely buzzing because, throughout the pandemic, everything seems to be so repetitive, and this routine of streaming every single day alone and playing the same tournaments every single day is just somewhat tiring, even though it's been going pretty well. I'm absolutely excited to have a somewhat different stream, and here we are today. We'll do this session review. I actually happened to win a tournament yesterday, and I've decided to go through this one. I thought I'm a bit rusty because I just had the 7 days off, and I thought I'm not able to win anything after such a break, but yeah, we did this yesterday. I think I will have a bunch of questions because I believe I already told you that I tend to play cash games a lot, and I see myself getting lost a lot with the SPRs, because when you play cash games, you most of the time just have 100 big blinds and this is it.
Yeah.
While in the tournaments, I just see myself being lost a lot, and we will see, because I went through those hands like roughly, and I saw that I had a few spots when I was just like, oh my god, like I was not thinking on the turn by betting like this large, and I also see myself betting with the pretty big sizings, which might not be a thing most of the time in the tournaments. So I'll have the questions constructed around this topic, and also and also I would like to focus on final table, because this is where the money are being made, and I think those will be the most precious questions. Actually, for the starters, because I was running for my Twitch streams highlights, and I found one spot which was like absolutely annoying. So maybe as a warm up, let's start from this somewhat simple hand, but it was absolutely annoying and frustrating. Can you see my screen? Because I probably should.
I can see you. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, wonderful. Because I forgot that maybe I should share my screen on Discord.
Oh, I
okay.
see it on the stream. So
Oh,
there's
okay,
just a few seconds of
wonderful,
delay.
wonderful. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I should make it bigger or not. Like, this is a final table, and I think, I might make a lot of mistakes on the final table as well, especially as I play in the mornings, and the pay jumps are so not relevant. Like, right now, this is the 109 Bounty Hunter, the morning kind of tournament, so the pay jumps are like, as you can see, it's like $17, which is basically nothing. So I'm not really sure in those situations we should like treat ICM so seriously, because it's not even like a single payout structure or anything else. So I happen to have this on the stream, and I believe that those stakes people are playing pretty straightforward, and I don't know, I was pretty frustrated because we are starting this final table as a chip leader. We are loving our life, and suddenly something like this happened, and I have that tendency of like hating to like make some folds that could be criticized by my viewers, and this is the leak of mine as a streamer, like being afraid of being criticized. And here we are, we got beautiful poker queens. We got 4-bet by a big blind. Okay, this is not a small blind, and I really wanted to fold, and I don't know, like, I feel like if nobody would watch me, I would probably fold. Then again, there are no pay jumps. I mean, they're just ridiculous. But then again, we got this argument of like protecting our stack and being the chip leader throughout the entire final table. Maybe not throughout the entire, but you know what I mean. And this is like so close, and I don't believe, like, even though it's 109, it's somewhat big, I don't believe like people are finding some weird bluffs over here. And here comes my question: could I actually fold this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Short answer. Okay, this is what I wanted to hear.
It's. I mean, it's interesting to know the payout structure. Is it very top heavy? So are you saying it's you're not getting a lot for 8, 7, 6, but then it's very top heavy, or is it rather flat? I don't know. Do you remember the payout structure? I mean, something we can also quickly look up to. What's the usual payout structure for the 109 bounty hunter in the morning?
I believe for the first place there's like 800 plus the bounties, 800, 900. It depends. This one was a bigger one because it had 4K guaranteed prize pool, so I believe it will be like like 900 for the win plus the bounties. But other than this, as we can see, we are down to 8 players. There is like $120 for 8th place, and then we got 137. It's like top heavy, like you said, but. I don't know. It would look stupid on the stream to fold queens, so I didn't fold, but I was so mad at myself.
It's a little better to call in a bounty because just of the dynamics. I think if under the gun, in a freeze out, he just doesn't have any reason here to get it in with pocket tens or ace queen. But in a bounty, he's like, this guy. I have ace queen, 30 bigs. He might fold. There's already that lot of dead money in the middle. This guy could have some bluffs here and there, which I think most people don't have in a freeze out. In a freeze out, I would fold. Because we have literally nothing to gain here. And a lot to lose. In a PKO, it really depends on your reads for another gun. If you think he jams jacks and tens, if cutoff is capable of 3-bet folding or squeeze folding here, then it's fine. I mean, I guess you probably also have a decent edge in this field. So something you should consider, and when it's margin, you have 60 big blinds on a final table. It's just a lot, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Feels like a
I slightly lean towards folding. Yeah, also in a PKO. In a freeze out, I would fold. In a freeze out, it's a clear fold for me.
Yeah.
Under ICM circumstances, and in a PKO, it's
What if that would be some bigger tournaments, like with the bigger buy-in, or I don't know.
The ICM doesn't change on the bigger buy-ins, and then people are even.
I think so. I don't know, but what I'm trying to say is that in the bigger buy-ins, maybe people would find some bluffs in such situation, or is it just a myth that people?
I think even if this guy has some bluffs, and even if another gun once in a while jams his ace 5 suited or is getting a little out of line with pocket tens, I think we still have to fold. It just for us, just flipping against ace king, running into aces and kings here so often is just really bad for us. So.
Yeah. All right, so that was a quick warm up. I kind of knew like that will be the answer. I just like wanted to feel.
Yeah, better. No, it's good to check it out. What did so I guess someone had aces. Or
yeah,
kings.
Obviously that was aces, but my logic behind that was that even if he has aces, he's just not going for this kind of sizing. So that's why I end up calling this all in, because I've just assumed that if you got aces, you just don't go all in. You probably just like go for some little 4-bet or like try to induce something. So if we exclude aces from his range, and maybe kings would have followed this kind of logic as well, we flip a lot and there's a bounty. And that's why I convinced myself to call. But it's kind of true. Like if he got aces, he's probably just not shoving. And but no, it wasn't true. I shouldn't assume that he's thinking the way I think.
In these spots, usually when you're not sure and you risk a lot, you risk your tournament life, your second in chips. Usually, it's more often a fold.
Yeah.
You wanna when the money goes in with 50, 60 big blinds on the final table and you have a bunch of shorter stacks, you wanna get it in with kings and aces, calling all-ins. But you going all in yourself with queens or ace king is totally fine. If you open 3-bets and you just jams, it's usually fine.
All
like
right.
When it comes to calling all-ins, kings and aces is very often 95% of the time the right play.
All right. We'll have a pretty interesting final table in this tournament. It literally happened yesterday, and I had an absolute maniac on the final table, and I think that developed like some interesting spots that I will have questions about. I believe we will run through quickly those first few hands. I mean, not few, but the beginning of the tournament was pretty slow, and like not much was happening. I still didn't filter my hands to those that went for the VPIP, because maybe I'm going through some weird folds that shouldn't happen. So that's why I've decided to not filter the hands, and I've decided to just like show them all. So maybe there will be like this weird silence where I'm just like folding those obvious hands. But here we go, the first hand. But yeah, I believe not much will happen over here unless I'm wrong. But I don't think we should like try to find anything with such hand in.
This hand is also fine as a 3-bet preflop
from the big blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be something that I'm lacking a lot, like going for the bets from the big blind versus some. I mean, he's not early position. It's a hijack, so.
Especially against the later positions where he's gonna have a lot of the jack 10 offs, queen 10 offs, ace 9 offs, ace 8 offs, ace 10 offs. And obviously the combos are always a lot of combos, so you get a lot of folds right away from these combos.
All right, that's actually a
Uh,
valuable point because I feel like
yeah.
I'm lacking those free bets a lot. I tend to just call, especially like as I'm playing those cash games. I'm like trying to like be kind of nitty, and I see myself being nitty when it comes to defending my big blind and going for the free bet.
It's definitely okay. It's just an option for you to consider and against, decent players, because as you say, and you're not the only one. It's really hard to find these bluffs in the big blind just so comfortable calling, right?
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. It's just
And
so.
that's why it's you get away with it a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Something I've discovered in my research as well for the population, that it's massively overfolding versus three bets from later positions. Something
Yeah,
we can
yeah. And I'm like looking for those spots where I could be a little bit more aggressive because I feel like in order to like start playing higher, I just should like be a little bit more
Yeah.
aggressive, and that could be a starting point.
Mhm.
Here, I feel like we are just going all in versus like all of those
Yeah,
guys.
I really like it. It's
Yeah.
it's really good. I was afraid you might just call because it's you're still quite deep, but you have 6, 7, 8 big blinds in the middle.
Yeah.
It's totally fine to just jam your 37 big blinds.
Like this stack is just like I don't know. I couldn't picture like any sizing that I
Yeah.
could go for the squeeze with, and
Yeah.
we probably just want to get it in. It's a bounty tournament. We don't have time to flatten play post-flop.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I could like go for the question like, what should be like the bottom offsuit ace that we want to make such a play with, or we are not trying to like find this kind of spot. Like, let's go back. Like here we go. Like, what would be the weakest suited ace that you go for such a play with?
I think it's a pretty good spot to actually be really aggressive with going all in, simply because hijack is mostly going to be on, the top hands he can have are tens and jacks. That he might be flatting sometimes. I don't think with these stack size people are necessarily trapping a lot with aces, kings. And then there's some ace queens, but he's gonna have a bunch of lower pairs, low suited aces, suited broadways, like king queen off, some king jack offs, 10-9 suited, these type of hands. So he's just like 90%, 95% of the time folding. And then button is also just two big blinds dead money. So the calling ranges are going to be really, really tight. I think in these soft fields, you don't necessarily do that. You just overcall a bunch, try to hit a flop. It's like both are very high EV plays, right? So if I would do it, I really need to have the read that there's someone just calling a lot, which is really hard. It's just really hard to get this read, right? So I try to keep it simple, and I would go with, ace 10 suited, ace jack off, pocket nines, pocket eights, something along the lines of that.
Oh, so it's actually
Because-
pretty solid range. I thought that we can go like
Yeah.
really
You
wide.
can.
And, yeah.
What do you mean really, really tight?
Really wide.
We
Like, I don't know, like I wouldn't be surprised if you'd say that we can go all in here with some, I don't know, king 9 suited, king 7 suited, I don't know.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can. It's certainly profitable. It's just, is it better than flatting? The flat also has a certain EV, and then you always want to decide whether jamming has a higher EV or calling. I also like squeeze fold here. If you think people are folding, I think if you squeeze to 14K, you're probably gonna gain similar fold equity as if you would go all in, but you save yourself a lot of chips when someone wakes up with a hand. This is something I really like to do in these spots as well.
The most annoying part is I feel like in those stakes people would find some weird flat calls, which would like make us play post flop, and that is somewhat troublesome because the pot will be, let's imagine that we squeeze to 14K, it'll be like we will basically have like pot size bet behind. And this is what like gives me a headache a lot. I'm like, okay, I have this ace queen offsuit, and we got like some, I don't know, any kind of random board, and in my opinion, we can just like go like all in on the flop no matter what. Or am I delusional?
Yeah, I wouldn't be so afraid of that, because let's say you squeeze to 14K, he calls, pot is going to be 30K, we have a stack to pot ratio of 1.
Yeah.
So it's like with that stack to pot ratio, you just get so much fold equity on the flops. You bet like 8, 9K, and it's not that they can float a lot because there's so little behind. So they have to hit something, and it just doesn't happen often enough. And you can still hit something with your king 9 suited or king 10 as well, or
True,
if you want to squeeze your ace four suited. So
All right. This is something that
yeah,
I
and
need
if
to...
you hit something, you just have to go with it. If you hit a draw, you can just go all in or
Okay. Oh my god, we got
yeah.
a subscription. Thank you so much, Danny O and Dead True TV. Thank you so much for the bits. We got notification earlier on, but I didn't want to like interrupt Ben when he was halfway through the sentence. But thank you so much, guys, for the support. All right, let's move on. I would never think about like going for the squeeze with this hand, and that actually could be a thing. Maybe this is what I'm missing in my play. You know, I'm playing so straightforward, but then again, in those stakes, I believe this is actually the solution. And yeah, but yeah, it's probably smart to have some other plays in the arsenal. So I'm loving this. Okay, we're going for the limp with Queen 9 offsuit. I gotta check on the given board texture. I decided to check because he might be actually somewhat connected. I mean, if I just bet one big line, he can just fold me a lot like crazy. So I don't know. Maybe this is
Yeah,
a
it's
approach.
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna have like 10 deuce off and all that kind of crap, you know, jack three off. These
Yeah.
kinds of hands we protect against. He's still gonna have a lot of conning hands, but also, you know, we have two overcards. Good bet. We can barrel a 10, we can barrel a jack, we can barrel a 7. 9 and queen should be live, and we protect a little bit. Even if he has something like, yeah, king deuce, king 3, I think we get those hands to fold.
I mean, we still got 2 overs, but he went for the half pot size bet, so I believe we just fold and like try to avoid the troubles. So we move on. Jack 7 won't play. King 3 won't play. No. Okay, here we go. That looks pretty, but not anymore. This one will also not play. Looking for the hands. We'll be having lots of action at the end of this tournament. But for now, I don't know. Maybe this is a standard call in MTTs, but I feel like we can get lots of troubles with this hand. But then again, he's going for the min raise, so we can defend like so wide. But I'm not really sure like how wide we can actually go, which sounds horrible because I'm streaming every day and I should know this kind of things. But oops.
It's honestly, yeah, I mean 8-6. I would defend 8-6 off, and then 8-5 off becomes a little closer. It's actually a hand that is quite good against an under the gun range. These 8-6 off, 7-5 off, 6-5 off are better than they appear. Card removal effects are pretty important. Let's say if he has, you know, he's going to have a lot of like queen jacks, pocket queens, jacks, like very often a Broadway hand in his range. So I actually prefer a 6-5 off over a 9-8 off. Because, yeah, you might say, well, we have two overcards against his pocket pairs, 7s, 8s, 6s, 5s, or we have live cards against his lowest suited aces. Well, the problem is that on a lot of boards where you know, we hit a middling pair, it's like whatever, like jack 7, 4, whatever. He's supposed to be very aggressive and barreling a lot with his lower aces. So we very often not to get to see the showdown. And also, very often he's going to be blocking a lot of our outs. So when we have 10-9 or 9-8 off or 7-8 off, the 9-10 jack are very often out of the deck, right? Because yeah, he's going to have ace jack, he's going to have queen jack, jack 10 suited, 10s, 9s, jacks very often. And so having a 4-5 off or even 8-6 off is just so much better because he's not going to have a 5, he's not going to have a 7 or 4 that often. That helps us making a straight or just, you know, flopping. And this is where also the chat can relate to, where, you know, when you have aces and you so often you get cracked from 4-5 suited, 6-5, 7-6, just because a lot of the cards that we need are still in the deck. It's just very simply card removal effects. So keep that in mind, and that's why, for example, if you look into Sims, that under the gun raises and cut off calls, that a hand like Jack 10 off is really, really, really bad. It's really close. It's like almost break even, and then a hand like 4-5 off has a higher EV in defending.
Yeah, that's logic. That's logic. But in game, I'm like,
Jack 10 off, so pretty, right? We can make it straight, but think about it, you're not going to make that many straights because the open raiser is going to have an ace, king, queen very often in his hand, and the cold caller as well. So there's like already 4 cards of the deck that help you making a straight or pairs or 2 pairs, and then you also have horrible reverse implied odds when you make your top pair with a jack or 10.
I really like this. I will definitely remember this because I know that I'm so nitty when it comes to like defending the big blind, which I put the blame on cash games. But
Yeah.
okay, but
Yeah, because you don't have antes, right?
yeah. And you need to be like crazy tight. You're folding.
And also in cash game, people open to 2.5x. You just see more min raising happening because ranges are wider. People want to give themselves a better price, which makes a lot of sense. But we just get to defend the big blind incredibly wide with those type of hands.
All right. Here I believe I went for the free bet. Because why not? Got punished for this. Didn't work this time.
It's not bad. I like it. I think it's a good strategy to be really aggressive there on the small blind. People fold a lot on button cutoff versus three bets. So per default, I like your game plan a lot there.
I don't know. Maybe I could use the different sizing, or is this one correct?
No, it looks fine. We're not that deep anymore. I would just look maybe for with this deck size, maybe having an ace or king is a little bit better. A king 9 off, or even a queen 9 suited, queen 8 suited. I always try to accomplish something with my hand. The problem with queen jack off is that you're not really folding out better hands. You want to fold out some dominated hands. So queen 8 suited, you make him fold queen 9 off, queen 10 off, perhaps a king 9 off, even king 10 off maybe starts folding. Queen jack off, I don't see him ever folding king jack, ace jack, or king queen, ace queen, right? We fold out some ace 9 offs or ace 8 offs. So yeah, that's why queen jack off I would prefer flatting, and then maybe taking a queen 8 suited, or a king 5, king 6 suited. You make him fold the king 8 off, king 9 offs. This is the kind of simplicity, and this is also when you look into some simulations, it's pretty much what GTO wants to do. And also, as I said, like queen jack off is also going to be profitable with 3-bet. It just very often we then just start 3-betting random hands.
Yeah. Like
incorporate some clarity into our game plan, and then we just can rely on that and here and there make adjustments. But as I said, as an exploit, I think it's a wonderful strategy to be really aggressive from the blinds.
I think the valuable argument is that we are not really folding better queen X or jack X, which is helps to remember. And now we are like,
and when we fold out the queen 10 offs, the jack 10 offs, which we want him to maintain in his range.
Yeah. And now that we are having the 20 big blinds, we probably don't look to, I don't know, maybe this is also what I misunderstand, but like once we are down to 20 big blinds, we are playing versus undergun, we probably don't want to like try to see the flop even though it's suited and pretty, or am I wrong?
Yes, unfortunately you're wrong.
Damn it!
It's the position advantage is pretty big here, and also under the gun's range is really defined. So even if you have like a 9-8 suited or 7-8 suited, you still want to. I mean, if you get 20 big blinds and less, it gets quite problematic. But like 20, 25 big blinds, and the reason being is that all you want to care about is your equity realization. So you don't want the blinds to be really aggressive. But the benefit here is that you play against under the gun. That means you're kind of protected that the blinds cannot go crazy because under the gun has such a tight range. So very often they will overcall. You see a flop 3-way with a wonderful hand, and and that's our first goal that we try to accomplish, to see a flop.
Okay, so here comes the question. So we are down to 20 big blinds. How about all of those suited connectors? Because in my understanding, it's hard to actually like realize our equity when we are having suited connectors and 20 big blinds. So what would be like the weakest suited pretty hand that we would like to play in the given situation with the under the gun? Yeah,
I would still, and I think it's also like 20 big blinds is the threshold, but hands like 10-9 suited, 10-8 suited, 9-8 suited, 7-8 suited, we should still flat. Against
okay.
Yeah. Because he's also going to have a lot of king jack off, so they still perform quite well, and you can still call with your pair on the flop, and then he's also giving you some sort of credit that you flat against his 20 big blind, or you have 20 big blinds.
Yeah.
So we still quite sticky. Again, this is for min raise, and this guy, I think he's opening 2.5x, right? So I would be a little tighter and maybe fold 10-8 and 7-8 suited and just go with 9-8, 10-9 suited, Jack-10 suited.
So is that situation being changed if we are, I don't know, let's imagine that we had an open from the cutoff. Do we still apply this kind of logic? Because in this situation, blinds can actually like go after us. Or is it still the same?
Well, then we simply have more equity, right? His range is wider, so then we
Okay.
actually start defending
All
more.
right. All
This
right.
is just the main strategy. We're going to be defending all of these hands against any position, also against another gun. And what most people did is they defended a lot against late position, but defended super tight against another gun
Yeah.
because they underestimated what's up.
No, it's just like an aha moment for me. I'm like, I got it completely wrong. That's
So
awesome.
so we defend very wide against cutoff and hijack. We defend wide against middle position, and we defend somewhat reasonable against another gun. It's like we mix in those 10-9, 10-8, 7-8 suited. Reason being, and even suited aces and king-9, king-10 suited, queen-10 suited. Reason being that the blinds cannot just go crazy and bluff squeeze or go in because another gun has such a tight range.
I love this. I love this. I got it completely wrong. Like every single time I was down to 20-ish big blinds, I was like, yeah, I guess this is when we start to just go all in because it's a bounty tournament. If I will start flooding those spots, I will easily just lose those few blinds and I'll have less folding equity if I will try to, like just resteal some chips. So that's why I was definitely too tight in those situations. So that's pretty good lesson for me. So I'm happy.
It's just a game of equities, and then there's certain hands with certain stack size that just often enough going to hit something that allow you to go broke.
Yeah.
In terms of the equity, plus then on, I don't know, different board textures, given that also out of position is going to be checking a decent amount of the time. Can you hide the hole cards from your opponents? I think there's an option.
Yeah, I should definitely. Oh no, close your eyes, guys. All right. Fixed. Okay, nobody saw anything. And here we go. I went for the defense with king 3, which I guess it's just normal. And I don't know, in this situation I feel like king high might be good often enough, so I'm not going for any moves. Okay, pocket 10s. Yeah, we're just going all in. This is pretty standard. We double up. Looking for another pot. This one, oh yeah, like here I remember I wasn't really sure whether 9s is the hand that I want to like kind of slow play because we have so many reshoving stacks behind. So is this a situation where we want to be tricky? Then again, I guess pocket 9s need some protection because they are somewhat likely to see another card on the flop and we probably don't want that. So here comes the question, are both plays correct or we just like want to, I don't know, establish our situation pre-flop?
I would jam. You knew 3-bet. I mean, we're just on average 20 big blinds here, right? Effectively. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't hate it because you can get away if, let's say, big blind jams. I would still make it a little bigger because, yeah, on these stakes, people, if they have queen 10 suited, let's see a flop and
Yeah.
either a little bigger or I would just jam.
All right. Yeah, and here I just go all in.
Yeah.
For another one. Okay, and all right, I remember this hand because like I said earlier, like this is what I am getting lost a lot with because I'm going for, like I tend to like just use the bigger sizing compared to like any other player, I think. And here in the multi-way, I think this is a mistake to go for the half pot because like if we are playing multi-way, I guess if we bet like 1/3, the small blind cannot like try to, I don't know, call with some 4x or 6x because it's a freeway, like you play versus 4 cards instead of 2 cards. So like we probably don't need to use such big sizing in those situations. And what do you think about this?
Yeah, this hand is quite interesting. I want to use mostly. I like it when you have a good hand, but we also want to just very often bet small because small and big men want to have missed this board quite often. I'm just afraid that we start folding out hands that might be floating,
Yeah.
like weaker flush draws.
Yeah.
There's just a 9-8 in clubs for the small blind against this sizing. And I think you accomplish the same with a smaller sizing. I think a 4-6 is not folding anyway for the big blind. The small doesn't have a lot of 4-6 combos anyway, maybe an ace-6 or ace-4 suited. But I think with someone behind, with his ace-4 diamonds, he's also going to fold to a 5k bet. And if he wants to be stubborn, we can second bar a lot of turns anyway. We have all the equity in the world.
How about the heads-up situation? Let's imagine that we are playing
Against
simply
against the
big
big
blind.
blind,
Yeah.
it's whatever.
It's
You
whatever.
can literally, it's really whatever. If you go big and face it, if you want to go big, you just need to be aware that you have to play for stacks here.
Yeah, obviously.
If you plan to bet forward, then don't go for big. If you bet small, you can always call a raise, right? I mean, if you bet 5k and this guy jams 70k, then we have to fold, but I guess that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. All right, so
You never know on these stakes though. But
yeah. I mean, I just discovered that like I'm okay. This is a multi-way, so it's a completely different story. But like in a heads-up situations, I feel like it's just better to go for the bigger sizing because people are not check raising enough, and also they kind of don't distinguish the difference between like the half pot size bet and 1/3, and they're still like calling too wide. It's just like they don't see the difference, and this way we are able to earn more. So it's like a little trick. That it's actually working, but yeah, here I just like probably was not thinking or was not focused, and yeah, we got lucky, and yeah. I mean, maybe I could ask you about the turn sizing.
Can you go to the turn?
Yeah. Let's go back. I got overexcited. Yeah. So is 21k into 30k?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
I like it that you go that big because he's never gonna fold a queen. If he has something like 6-7 in diamonds, he's gonna be folding to 15k, 13k, 20k. Doesn't really matter. But if he has a queen, he's never folding unless we go all in. Maybe then, but we're not going to be doing this. And also, if he has something like pocket eights with one club, we still want to give him a good price to continue.
Yeah. Oh, all right, awesome. We move on.
Can we go to the river?
Oh yeah. Huh. Okay, and here we are on the river. Yeah, but we got 45k behind. The pot is 72k.
Do you think he is going to be? You're going to have 50% against this calling range. You want to have at least 50%, right, against this calling range in order to have a value bet.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the case?
I think it's not the case.
Because also think about the line, right? He would very likely jam some lower flushes if he has like, Jack 3 in clubs or whatever. But then he has all, let's say, ace 4 off with ace in clubs, ace 6, ace in clubs. All the slow played nut flushes. He could have floated the flop with something like ace 10 off, ace in clubs. So he's actually having a bunch of hands that would take exactly that line that you jam into.
Oh, I didn't think about it. Sorry for interrupting. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So I'm not 100% sure either, but intuitively, this seems to be a hand to me that wants to check.
Wow, I would never think about it. I would just assume that if he had some pocket pair. Oh yeah, but if he got, I don't know, 7s, 8s, 9s. I guess they're calling anyway because it's a bounty tournament. And
yeah. I mean, he really has to call all of them or a lot of the times.
I'm shocked because for me it was like, yeah, it's obvious. Like
I'm not saying it's terrible. Just
yeah.
It's close, right? It's really really close.
That's crazy. I didn't think about this.
I'm just putting it on Equilab, just to see how many.
Yeah, because it's true. If he got some, I don't know, Jack 9 of clubs, he might make a move on the turn, And
No, Jack Nine, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, there are gonna be a few flushes that slow play, and I'm gonna give him some. Um, and maybe he has like,
I have one question. Imagine the guy actually
yeah,
has ace of clubs. I feel like people just kind of lead or at least block bet the river.
also possible, yeah.
Yeah, so thinking about that, I would say he doesn't have like 100% of those like nut flushes because I don't know. It happens a lot, you know. They got those nuts
Hmm.
and either they're like tanking forever and then they're blocking at least trying to induce something. It's not all the time the case that they are just checking. But the truth is, I rarely see someone just going for the check raise, shove with ace of clubs, something on the
Yeah.
turn. Yeah.
So okay, if he has, let's say, ace check off, ace 10 off, ace 6 off, ace 5 off, ace 4 off. I think ace 5 off, with the ace and clubs backdoor. I see them calling sometimes on the flop. I'm not even giving him ace 7 off. I don't want him to float too wide to make the result too negative. So I give him those nut flush draws and then some nut flushes, ace 3, ace 6, ace 7, ace 8, ace 9, ace jack suited. I will take some out. I will say, okay, let's assume he is sometimes leading them. So I will reduce them by around 30%. So let's say he is leading with ace 5. When he makes the nut flush on the river, he's leading ace 4, ace 5 suited, ace 7 suited, ace 8 suited. So he only has he has the ace 4 off, ace 6 off, ace 10 off, ace jack off. So we consider Yuri that sometimes people lead here. And then I say, okay, he's gonna call you all in with queen jack off when he has the jack in clubs, queen 9 when he has the 9 in clubs. Queen 10 off, 1 second. Why is queen 10 off not in here? I'll consider that as well.
What are my bluffs actually here?
Queen 10 off is not possible because we have the 10 in clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that. King Queen off is in clubs also not possible. So that's also a bit of a bummer that we have the 10 in clubs because we block some of these reasonable calls in his range. And then let's say, okay, he's falls in love with his hand, 9-8 suited, 7-8 suited, 9-7 suited, 10-9 is not possible, 7-6 in clubs, which I think a lot of the times will also jam, right? And maybe give him some Jack X, like Jack 8, Jack 7, Jack 9. What else is possible? Jack 6 is possible. So, considering that he also calls all these flushes, you have 48%. So you still don't have a value bet.
Oh my god. I didn't even think about it. I was just like skipping this hand and trying to find a new spot to discuss it, and we found this little thing in here. I mean, it's not that little because I'm value betting, but not really. It's crazy. I'm just like assuming that, yeah, if you got the worst flush, he's just gonna call me no matter what. But I'm delusional.
I mean, I would say that people, call way too many club hands here on the river.
Yeah, it's a
But
bounty
again,
tournament. They see the bounty. They see. But then again, what are my bluffs? If he get like I don't know, pocket sevens with the 7 of clubs, they might end up overcalling the spot. Not thinking much that I am.
And also, not so many of these low flushes are possible because there's a 4 deuce and 5 already out there. So it's like 7-4 is not possible, 8-6 not possible. Let me see which ones are possible. 8-3 in clubs is also possible. The others are not possible. 10 high flushes are not possible. Yeah, 9-3 clubs is possible as well. Let's give him that as well. Yeah, so now I have all the weaker flushes in his range. Like literally 100%. I have all the jack high flushes, all the 9 high flushes, all the 8 high flushes, all the 7 high flushes.
Yeah.
And 6-3 in clubs, which is, by the way, a straight flush.
Oops.
So then, only then, so he never jams a weaker flush on the turn. Then you barely reach the 54%.
Wow.
If we start taking out some of these lower flushes, which is very realistic, because now we assume he sometimes leads these ace high flushes on the river, right? But he never. That's not realistic. we also need to take out some of these lower flushes. I would say also by 30%. And then you can imagine that things are getting a little worse. And then we have 42%, so we don't have a value bet.
It's crazy.
Assuming assuming that the hero calls all of them.
Yeah. Which is not true.
So if we also maybe here he has a good day, he folds 1 or 2 combos of these flushes. We had 38%.
Oh my god! Wow, this is crazy. I would never stop over this hand to actually think about it, and oof. I love it. Oh, guys, make the notes. We don't have such streams every day.
He has all these ace X, like ace 4 off, ace 6 off, and there are just so many more combos than if you have an ace 4 off, it's like with the ace and clubs, it's 3 combos. It's already 3 combos. And then all the lower flushes are almost 3 combos, right? It's like if you take ace 4 off and ace 6 together, it resembles all the lower flushes that you're hoping he's calling for. And then the suited nut flushes, the ace jack offs, ace 10 offs that I have, and all the others, we assume he's leading on the river. It's already way more combos than the single. It's just 1 combo if he has jack 3 in clubs, right? But you have 3 combos of ace 4 off.
That's insane. I mean, I'm loving this. I would never expect that we will find something on such hand. Well, for me it was so obvious, but it's not.
If you have king 7 in clubs, it's much better because you unblock some more, queen 10 offs that could hero call, or 10-9 club, jack 10 clubs, some better flushes. True. But having 10, the 10 in clubs, not,
That 10 is actually not so nice. Oof. My dear viewers, you better take some notes.
But it's good. It's good to look. It's honestly, at first I would not have made a bet that I'm 100% sure that this is not a value jam. I was like, it kind of looks close to me.
Wow, it was.
So you can see that how easy it is to overlook. It's like, hey, I jammed a king high flush, and you get an ace high flush. It's a setup, but if you look at it, it's just a punt.
Yeah. It's insane to me because sometimes I tend to just play automatically, and I'm like, this game is so simple, but actually, if you have a closer look, it's actually not so simple. And he happened to have queens, but I guess we just go all in. He has 20.
Yeah, with a bounty, it's fine.
It's suited and everything. So.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like if you bet 1/3, that's an option, right? If we bet 1/3, we just extend his calling range. We can then fold to an all-in, and we get probably then more calls from these weaker flushes. So that's the only option.
Okay, so to just bet 1/3 on the river.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ace king. I guess I just bet.
Yeah, I like it.
On the turn, I think we just go for the check. I'm not sure what we are accomplishing by betting this turn. So we go for the check and I guess show it, and we can win a lot by showing down our hand, and I skip the showdown. He had ace something, ace 5 or something like that.
This is, for example, a spot where I think people would lead a lot of the times with a 4-3. Definitely an option where we could go for a thin value bet on the river.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
I think he's gonna have a lot of ace. Also, you're still how deep are you? Is it big blind 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5. So we have 30.
Yeah, he's probably against hijack. He's calling a lot of ace 10s, ace jacks with that stack size. And we don't represent a lot. I think that also good. We block a lot of these offsuited ace 4 king or 4 king. He's the most likely 4x and 3x combos he has are the offsuited ace 6 and king x combos, which we block. So he's gonna have loads of weaker ace highs, king highs that would take exactly that line.
What will be your sizing on the river?
Half pot, 10, 12k. I can definitely see some merits in here and value betting. But it's probably this is a spot that I would need to look up. But probably the way people play this spot is just they would block bet a 3 or 4. We also have a lot of ace highs. And then we should do so. We should just bet. If we have something like king 3 in diamonds, it's just such a great bet on the river. Because puts us in a lot of trouble with our ace king, ace jack, ace 10.
Yeah. I like it. True. Some chips could be made in that spot here. We cannot do anything.
Nice open raise.
Yeah, once again, I just go for the half pot.
I really like it. I really like this that you have these half pots on ace high boards. Usually people always auto bet 1/3.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, but then if you bet 1/3, I assume that you need to go for like pot size bet on the turn or something like that. And like, I know that I wouldn't do that, so that's why I think like betting half is better.
Yeah.
I just know myself that like if I go for the pot size bet on the turn, it just like gets weird. Like you still don't see those plays often enough.
Yeah. Yeah, this board can develop a little ugly if there's like a 5 or a 9,
Yeah.
especially in clubs.
Okay.
Usually my game plan for these spots is that I bet for the turn because they're not going to be shoving, let's say, mid pair in a draw. They just call and hope to hit. So we can punish this kind of passive behavior.
True. A limp. Oh, this one. Because I believe, like it's just getting so awkward. We got an offsuit king on the small blind. We got raised. I mean, people are like raising more often these days versus those limps. So I was thinking that whether king 9 offsuit is like weak enough to just like go for the open instead of limp. Yeah, is the king 9 the bottom line, or I don't know, that should be king 10. I'm just like trying to figure out what is the king that we should go for the open and what is the king that we should go for the limp here.
Think about the hands that are going to be calling your raise with the king 9 off, but very often going to be checking back.
Once again, so kings that will call my raise.
Just the type of hands he's calling that is against your raise.
Oh yeah, so that would be like all of those Broadways. I'm not sure if the better kings would have go for the free bet. So yeah, like better kings like king 10, king jack. I don't think people ever like free betting those hands versus the open. So wait a second. What should be my conclusion? Because I got lost. I was thinking about range, and that should lead me towards thinking that we want to limp this one, because when we limp, we are being isolated by some nonsense hands, which is not the case when we open.
Okay, so yeah, blind versus blind is quite difficult.
Yeah.
So when you want to decide between checking and raising, you want to think, well, what do I accomplish with raising? And so especially you want to think about what is he doing with the combos that we have dominated. So let's say if he has a king 4, he's very likely going to be calling our raise, but very likely going to be checking back. It just not always, but like that's the most frequent play. If he has a 9-8 off, he's going to be checking it back, but he's calling a raise, right? The hands that are raising us, according just the very theoretical approach here, the hands that are supposed to raise are, of course, some like 9-4 offs as well, but very often also just the very trashy hands, like a 4-3 off, 6-3 off, very often hands that will actually fold our raise. So we want to think about do we get value from our hand? Is he calling a lot of better and dominated hands? And also, do we protect against hands that would then also realize a lot of equity? So we actually, if we raise and he folds 4-5-3 off, that's great. He's going to be calling 9-8 off, 9-7 off, 10-9 off, Jack-9 off, Queen-9 off. All of these hands are not raising himself, very likely. Also, we get calls from a lot of dominated hands. Plus, if he wants to call a 4-5 off, we at least punish him for it. So you very often you want to be raising those kind of hands from the small blind. Like not very often in my default game plan, I'm always raising king 9 off, queen 9 off, jack 9 off, 10-9 off for that reason. And you will see a similar pattern in Pyro Solver as well, or in any kind of GTO solve.
How about the suited hands?
Suited as well.
Okay.
Especially suited because I start limping hands like that can call a raise, let's say Jack 5 suited or King 5 suited, because I benefit less from. So if for example, King 5 suited, I want him to raise his 7-5 off, his 6-5 off, his 9-5 off. But also more often, I will have less hands dominated in his calling range, right? It's like with what are we really dominating with King 5? He's going to be calling the Jack 9s, 9-8s, 9-7s, etc. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So very often my approach is I limp these kind of like king 5 suited or even off suited, or I limp some like suited jack X, suited queen X, or even like queen 6, queen 7 off, and sometimes I defend them against the raise, also the lower off suited aces, and then I limp call like 9-8 off, and sometimes low frequency 10-9s, and so this is my kind of approach. But very often I just go ahead and raise, and something I can also if you want to check out some videos in the tomorrow masterclass, where I also made a population analysis on showing how people play from the blinds, and we actually just want to raise a lot. People massively overfold, people massively underraise. We just want to be limping all our trash. We just want to be very straightforward and just very exploitative from the small blind.
All right, I love that. I love that. I mean, I see the tendency that people started to raise versus those limps. Yeah, but as you just said, like
I mean, you're supposed, according to the theoretical sound approach, you're supposed to be raising like 40 to 45%, and like population does around 30-35%, which is still a lot, but still not often enough.
Yeah.
And then if every third time you're being raised from the big blind, it's kind of like you think it's a lot, but it's not.
So it sounds like the play from the small blind, I mean blind versus blind, is the play to focus on, because this is where the money can be made. Like
yeah, ranges are really wide. People are very afraid to play in spots where ranges are really wide. That's why heads up is not the most popular format. It's just very difficult to master. So like people are very often, they just freeze, they're lost. Like, oh my god, I have these 10 deuce offs, I have these 9-4 offs, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. All right, here I went for the limp call. On the flop, the action is check. On the turn, I've decided to bet because my 9, I believe, needs some protection, and we can still have lots of bluffs in the situation.
Pot is 18k?
Yeah, the pot is 18k. I bet 10.5.
Go even bigger.
Even bigger.
You have... So...
We want to be
everything
polar, I
in
guess.
poker, your win rate really comes from your value hands, and it's very important to play your value hands really well. And okay, let's talk about an extreme. Do you have, let's say, can you go 36k and going all in with this hand on the river? Okay, you're already contemplating about it because you don't really know. Probably not. Maybe yes, maybe no. So now let's go a little bit down. Like, can you bet 18k on the turn and pot on the river against his weaker 9x and 4x?
I think so, definitely.
Exactly. So then we want to do that, right? So this is the easiest approach to identify what is the right sizing to use. Certain value hands, if we start getting too big, we kind of start turning our hands into a bluff. And if he have ace 8 deuce suited, he might be like, what am I beat? Then it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But this end, I'm betting pot turn and I'm betting pot on the river.
Oh, yeah, it sounds so cool. I love it. Yeah, because if I have some jack 7, whatever, this is not my sizing. I mean, I don't bet 10k with jack 7 here. I should just like go for it.
Focus on your value hands. Focus on your value hands.
Yeah.
And if and also since he checks back here and there, he can have a slow play, but more often he's gonna have a pot controlled 9. He's gonna have a spike a 4, and even if he let's say he decides to call once on the turn with a 4 and then decides to fold on the river, because we then on the river want to go big, you at least get 8k more. You get 18k from his 4x hands, and then he folds the river, right? But you miss out on 8k, which is still 2-3 big blinds.
Yeah.
Which can add up in the long run.
Yeah, and also it creates a bigger pot for the river, and we can make even more money on the river if we just size it up.
And he can still have queen 10s, jack 10s that we charge. He can be still stubborn with an ace high. This is just where our hand is good enough, it's pretty strong, let's just pump it up. And probably even a queen, okay, maybe not a queen, but like any kind of low card, even a 7, a 6 should be good enough to value bet. An 8 is good enough. A 4 I would probably size down, maybe a little bit. Not go pot, maybe 2/3 pot, because he has a lot of 4x in his range that we would never play like this.
I have a question. So in this situation, you split your range into like this pot size bets and the hands that are betting somewhat smaller, because like this is how it sounds like. And if you have this small bet strategy on the turn, what also would be there, like because we already know it's 4, but what else could be there?
Yeah, I think in general, the way people play, you can definitely use your 10k, 11, 12k sizing with your bluffs and just pump it up with your value hands.
Oh, okay. So
he's gonna have like jack deuce off. He's gonna have ace deuce off. He's gonna have like 7-3 off, he's gonna have loads of crap. He's like gonna have queen 7 off, and if you bet 14, 15k or 13k, you don't need to bet pot with your jack 7 or jack 10.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to attack these auto folds. This is again a very unbalanced strategy, but you know, I've
It
been
doesn't
looking
matter.
into
I
it.
guess.
It doesn't really
Yeah,
matter
yeah,
because the
yeah.
problem, and I can also tell you that, and if we would have more time, I can also explain you where it comes from
Yeah.
and show you that with solves is people are not raising enough pre-flop. So they have way too many of these 10 deuce off, 10-6 off, 7-3s off, and 5 deuce off that they're supposed to bluff raise pre-flop sometimes. Then they're also not stabbing enough on the flop. So they carry all this garbage around.
Yeah.
And it just allows us to, with smaller sizing, just to attack that range. It's very easy to exploit.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to play poker right now. Oh my god. Okay, guys, let's go. So we bet 10k, and here I'm not really afraid of. I mean, I went for the block bet on the river, but I don't really feel like he has like plenty of jack X, because I believe jack X would have bet the flop already, like all of those jack 10 or like all the backdoor straight draws. So I think jack, yeah, he can have sometimes some jack 4, but I feel like this is still a river that we can value bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. I like it that you are not afraid. It's very good that you find these thinner value bets. You can even go a little bigger, as you said. Also, hands like jack 10, jack 7 would very often start betting on the flop, or queen 10, or queen jack. So yeah, again, he can have those, but it's unlikely. It's more likely, and this is what we want to focus on. What's the most likely scenario that he can have hands like 9-7, 9 deuce, 4, all the 4x in his range, and yeah, we still represent some busted draws with the 6-7, 6-5. So I would just go for I wouldn't go too crazy. I think
would I
max half
bluff
pot.
7-6 with this kind of sizing? Would that be my bluff?
You don't have that many bluffs anymore. You
Yeah.
can definitely size it up a bit more to get the guaranteed fold from a 4x.
Yeah. Okay. We got a fold. We move on. Oh, I went for the open with king 9. We got a free bet, and I decided to just fold this. Next. Here I went for the call. I believe I remember he had a pretty big bounty, so I feel like
You went for a gamble. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just go all in. You're not going to fold against when the big blind comes along, right?
oh yeah, definitely. So it's just
Yeah.
okay. Now we need to double up again.
Nice
Here I
done.
remember this situation. I was talking to the chat and I was not really focusing on it. And I went for the check, but overall, no, I think it's all right to check this board. What do you think?
I would just go for a small bet. But it's totally fine to check. This is one of the combos that sometimes wants to bet, sometimes it wants to check. It's literally whatever.
Because what are the blinds? I mean, I don't believe he will punish me by check raising this board, because if you are deeper, he can definitely like try to like make a move. But of those stack sizes, I think I shouldn't have lots of troubles after betting small. Well, I went for the
It's a
shoulder.
good hand. So, for example, there are a lot of benefits by checking back. So, you know, when there's a jack or 10, you should also sometimes use these as delay bets, and really I try to identify the way people play. So not just always check it down. I'm not sure if you do it, but I see this. That's why I'm bringing it up. I see this as a common leak. So when, you know, the turn is a jack or a 10, he checks that, or even if it's a queen, we can value bet a queen twice. He's going to have a lot of 4x, 3x. He's going to have like 4-5, 3-5. He's going to have a lot of call, turn, fold, river hands. So like on a jack 10, like we can definitely start being very aggressive to make him fold, because he would very often start leading. Like you have, that's how most people play bounties, and you have the similar thought process is when they're being covered, you know, you want to play straight for value, you want to make sure your opponent calls so you can double up and start chasing bounties, right? Usually people are not so trappy, even less trappier than in freeze outs. So you can really punish that and go really hard after them, because like if he has 10-4 in diamonds, he's going to be calling once, but then, you know, there's like 2 overcards, and maybe there's another overcard, there's a 7-8 or whatever, and then he's going to be folding the river.
But
And also,
aren't they getting too curious when there are like two flush draws on the flop? I didn't bet the flop. I mean, I see that a lot. That's why I tend to check my top pair on the given flop, because then people losing their minds after the flop action was check. So like when there are some draws possible, maybe that would.
yeah, but they're also gonna have a lot of like, 7-3 in clubs. They're gonna have 4-5 in spades. A lot of these hands as well, right? Pair and a draw that perceived are blocking your bluffs. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Okay.
Yeah, here and there someone's gonna be looking up. That's poker.
Yeah, they are curious.
I like to laugh. I like to laugh. Yeah. I like to bluff in these spots where we can be pretty sure that our opponent's range is weak. It's like I'm never hard on myself when I make a bluff and my opponent makes a hero call with second, third pair. It's like, hey, I want to be aggressive in these spots, and when my opponent wakes up with a hand I did not expect him to have, that's where I really question my play. Okay, am I missing something? Was it just an outlier? Was it just bad luck? Or is maybe population playing the spot different? But if I bet the turn and a jam and he calls me with 10-4, it's like, okay, great, right? He made a great play.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. That's a cool logic, right? Because there are so many spots like that. And
because I know when we bet into these third, fourth pair spots and we bluff in these spots, you get those folds often enough.
Yeah.
Poker it's not like 2004 anymore. You see some crazy calls for sure, but I don't think it happens as often as we might think.
Okay, trying to find some new hands. Oops, I skipped something. No. Okay, we're playing the crazy multi-way, but I guess we will not try to do anything in here.
Yeah, very disciplined.
Yeah.
These low wheel board, ace high boards are.
Yeah, and the multi-way.
Yeah.
Okay, we went for the defense with ace jack. We see some little c-bet on this board. I think we can just punish him a lot, and I go for the check raise. We got this beautiful ace of diamonds, and is it approved by Bencb?
What would you do with a hand like ace 5? Let's say ace 5 in clubs.
I think
or ace 7 in clubs.
Are you trying to assume that I have too many check raises here? Yeah. If I go for the check raise with like ace 5, ace 7, and as well ace jack, which is like crushing.
Or like jack 9 clubs, 7-8, 7-5, 5-3. You probably don't value raise 10-9 here, right? So jack 10. So you're not defending 10-4, 10-6, maybe 10-6 suited, and then you should have 6-4 off, but pocket 10s you jam pre, so your value range is also very limited.
Yeah, but then again, he's betting such small sizing on this board, and like, how many big ones does he have? He has like 30.
Yeah, but it's not bad because your range is really wide. He just attacks your king 7 of hearts, or your ace 2s off, or your queen 5 in spades kind of hands.
So this is not a hand that I should like try to play aggressively because it's too good to actually.
It's similar approach that we had earlier for 3-betting. It's like, when you have ace 5, you want to make him fold his ace 9 in spades, ace jack in spades. You want to fold out better ace highs, right? So you want to be raising those. And then I just call ace jack, it's like, I don't want him to fold queen jack, king jack. I want him, he hits his jack, or we hit our ace reverse, right? So we don't really need to protect our hand. And if he has pocket 5s, pocket 7s, and there's like a queen or king goes check check, maybe the river is a diamond, we can turn our hand into bluff and then still fold these hands out. We can still make these hands fold. But just this hand just crushes his bluffs that I don't really want to fold out these hands.
I was so proud of myself that I'm an aggressive player and I'm going for it on the board when he...
It's profitable. It has a shitload of equity. It's just I think calling is a little bit better. It's certainly approved as a race in terms of that it's a profitable race, which is good, and also gonna generate you a decent amount of money. I just think it will bring you some awkward spots.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's super important because if you want to be good, you need to be precise, and this is when the precision comes from, like in the spots like that, like when you are aware if you are over, I don't know, check raising and so on. So I think it's pretty important to be aware of those stuff. So
yeah.
We
Yeah,
found
absolutely.
found another league. We got a turn that I've decided to go for. And I guess if he would show, I would just obviously fold.
Yeah.
But he is given up. And here,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not sure about the
I really
second.
like it. I
Yeah,
really like your second barrel then. If you raise these hands, you got a barrel, a queen, or a king.
yeah.
Even though you're not representing a lot, like
I can have 6-4.
uh,
I don't know. Which
you
he
have to
never
be very
has.
careful with those. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of allergic when I see people just going for the small c bet on the board like that, especially when he is playing from the early position. But maybe I need to work on this.
It works okay on let's say maybe up to $100, but you have to be very careful because in theory we also want to have small bets here for value, and you can get punished. And then people also more stubborn on slightly higher stakes where they say they see they can identify don't have a lot of raises there, and then I have my candidates as well that would then click back with Queen Jack, and they then start making you fold hands that you actually have dominated, and you
Oh
don't want to
no,
do
it's
that.
true. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm safe at my $55 tournaments, but I need to be careful.
So yeah, Jack 9, let's say Jack 9 in clubs is a great hand. Jack 9 with a Jack in diamonds, or like very strong backdoors. Again, you also raise against under the gun range, or immediate draws, 5-3, 7-5, or strong backdoors with a strong overcard, Ace 5 clubs, Ace 7 with the Ace in diamonds, something like this are fine hands to raise.
All right. I'm happy that we found this. Ace King, and here I go for the 1/3. We got a call on a given turn. I've decided to check. On the river, we got a king, so I guess we just go for the value bet because I believe 10 would have spoken already. I don't know, like maybe we can still find some bets on the turn, and this is what I understand wrongly.
What sizing did you bet on the flop?
1/3.
Yeah, it would just really suck if you. It's a great calling hand as well. He's very likely not gonna bluff with strong diamonds, but he's gonna be bluffing with hands like King 9 in hearts, King 8 in hearts, 7-8. So we have a very, very clear situation on the river, right?
Yeah, totally. All right, I was just like assuming that maybe I made a mistake on the turn by not betting, but we made our life simple.
Yeah, it's like when the 10 pairs, it will really suck to face a check raise with our hand.
Yes, they always have it.
Yeah, we really want to see a good river. So I really like your check there. Nice jam. Yeah, I like you're very aggressive with like 20-25 big blinds with these rejams. That's good. I guess his bounty was not big enough to gamble.
Yeah, I mean, I have just one bounty, I believe, in this tournament until the final table, which I was like annoyed by, but sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes we just don't get those bounties.
Yeah.
And here I'm going for the passive approach. I don't see the merit of betting poker dates on this board, or a turn on the river.
I like it.
On the river, I just call because
I mean, you on the turn you can go for a small protection bet just against this Queen Jack diamonds, Jack 10 diamonds, King Jack clubs, the spades. It's good that no backdoor flush draws in it, so you have even more forward equity with your delayed bet. On the flop, he floats something like King Jack and spades, right? But on the turn, he folds these.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a good
So yeah, I would go for like 12K on the turn, something like that.
All right, that's a good point. And here I'm calling. This guy was a recreational player from what I remember, and he was using a lot the strategy of potting. So I assume that my eights are good, and I called.
It's not representing a lot. I like it.
Yeah. Also this. Yeah. I mean, I will have a heads up.
Him doing crazy things.
Yeah, I will have a heads up with this guy, and he was crazy. It was actually pretty exciting to like have the such opponent. Like here we had a limp from that crazy guy. And he was going pretty aggressively for the bounties. I'm not sure. I think ace-9 is a fold still versus those positions. Okay. Pocket deuces. I guess c-bet is standard thing with all the backdoors. On a turn, I go for the check because I don't want to get check raised and I can still improve.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and here we got the flush.
Yeah, especially against someone who's very aggressive, you know, he has 10-4 in diamonds. He's like, you know, I don't give a fuck, I have a pair.
Yeah. And it's so
You can have a lot of
painful.
bluffs. Yeah,
Yeah.
just play very straightforward and don't get too out of line. Just trying to have it. River, we can definitely consider value betting
You
this.
think so?
Yeah.
I mean, just because he's a crazy player, or
Yeah, I mean,
know?
if he has a 2-pair, he's not folding. If he has a queen 5, I think he's gonna look you up. Like, this is now a spot where calling ranges are much wider compared to the spot we had earlier.
Yeah, king 10. So what would be the sizing here?
Just half pot.
Okay.
Maybe, or just 20k.
Okay, so this is something that I've missed.
What did you have?
I don't remember this one.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I remember the later hands. Here, nothing will happen. No. Okay, here we got the limp again from the same guy. I'm not sure. Maybe we can lead the flop, or though I'm not really sure whether we want to do that. Like,
It's really hard to put him on a limping range.
Yeah.
I would be a bit more
cautious.
careful. Yeah.
All right.
Can have king queens in his range. Can have pocket eights, pocket fours. I don't see we have 3 streets against being 3-way on the flop with this hand.
Okay, so we just play it straightforward.
Unless if I've seen him somewhat earlier limping with like queen 5 suited from the earlier positions, then yeah. But then we can just take this hand and go bet.
All right. Maybe we got the value bet on the river. The flop was check, turn was check. I think I could have bet the river, and this is what I missed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like anything,
bet the
like
river.
block bet, anything, Monika.
Right. 20,
yeah.
18k.
Oh yeah, even 18k.
Big blind has a lot of like queen 5, queen 3 off that doesn't bet the turn, would call the river. If the guy's under the gun, he could look you up with 8-9 suited, ace-8 suited, whatever he might have there.
Yeah, anything. I've decided to not take those chips. Okay.
What happens?
It happens, yeah. And once again, we play with the same guy again. Just going for the c-bet, and I'm going for the. I'm not sure if the bigger sizing is correct versus such player because he doesn't like to fold, and I can get into lots of troubles.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we get the folds. We are close to the final table. Or the bubble. Oh boy! Once again, it was a limp pot. Yes. I tend to think that when they don't stop such flops, they are having some showdown value and they're just not like probing or anything. So even though our hand can improve, I still feel like it can get tricky. Although the queen would have probably just like bet automatically on the flop from the small blind. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's then you assume he has some showdown, so he has ace high, king high, maybe 6. Like, are they always calling against the big sizing?
Yeah, but I can make him fold on a flop turn and maybe river. So yeah.
You can. Yeah, you have a nice hand to barrel. Absolutely, especially with the spade. I would definitely bet the flop. He's also gonna have some, king 9s, king jacks that have showdown value. Pocket 9s, pocket 8s, maybe that limp pre-flop. So I would and also if he has jack deuce and clubs, he should not be stabbing this board.
Okay.
You still have fold equity for sure.
Okay, so this is where I could have done better. And here on 7, I went for this bet, but I'm not like 100% sure if this is what we want. Like at this point, I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have a queen. I don't believe he double checks it. Maybe sometimes he'll have a 10. And we kind of like need to protect our 7, I believe.
I like it.
Okay, so it's standard.
Yeah.
We move forward. Maybe I could have gone for some.
River gets close. He still has some weaker 10. He can have a better 7, king 7, ace 7, jack 7, 9. So I like the check there.
Yeah. And like with this kind of hand, so we got a guy who doesn't really like to fold on a big blind. We got a guy with 10 big blinds on the small blind. So I think we want to just fold, even though it's suited and so on.
Yeah. I would not get out of line.
Okay, we're trying for ace deuce.
Unless again it's final table bubble, right? So.
Yeah. I went for the over bet. Yeah, because he got the post size bet behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ace King. Oh, I remember, and this is the bubble, because in the morning we have like, I don't know, 13 places paid, so we were down to 14 players, and I have Ace King, and this guy is going for the 3.5x, and I don't know if I'm crazy, but every single time, or maybe I'm biased, but I really believe when people are suddenly out of nowhere going for the 3.5x when they were limping all the time, or like even the Rex are doing this, I'm like, wow, this is something stronger, and we're on the bubble, and I know he's just not folding if he got some crazy flip, and I see that everybody is so bad, so I've decided to simply call Ace King. I'm not sure if this is like crazy bad, or I don't know, or I'm just like trying to adjust to this crazy guy. I don't really know what to think about this. In game it made lots of sense to me because he was crazy aggressive, and suddenly he changed his sizing to something bigger, so I decided to just call.
I like it. I think it seems to be a very soft tournament. It seems to be a very soft final table. It's like the alternative would be jamming.
Yeah.
Or 3-bet calling, which, it's a body tournament. We can definitely go for the gamble here and just jam it in and see if, if he's crazy, like he might just, snap you out with ace jack, ace queen. I definitely see him having those hands in his range as well. For me, it seems like he just wants to commit himself against the big blind.
I don't know. Like from what I see in those stakes, people are just limping when they want to like have a chance to play with big blind who is short, and when they have some better hands, they're just like increasing the sizings out of nowhere. In this situation, he also had ace king, but yeah, once again, I'm not really sure whether I'm biased. Oh, Jess, thank you so much, Jess, for the sub. Welcome on the stream. All right, and here, yeah, we just drop it. But yeah, I wasn't really sure whether I should be proud of this flooding.
Okay. Well, it's definitely. ICM can sometimes be very weird, and then we have to make some weird adjustments sometimes. So I can definitely see you or understand you where you come from, and definitely also make some sense.
I remember this hand we flopped a full house. We faced
I would fold pre-flop, by the way. I don't
you would fold pre-flop.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, we got all those weird stacks behind. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got overexcited. So what would be the weakest pocket pair that you are calling here?
Fives. Sixes. Yeah.
Okay. But well, I got lucky, which is nice. I'm not sorry. I simply went for the call, and on the turn he's going for an on the barrel, and I don't really believe we can, I don't know, raise or anything. It's just like call it down.
Yeah.
And here on the river, he goes for the third barrel, and just shove. But I don't see any hands are calling me unless he got some 8x magically.
Well, you can have 10-9. You can have of course we have a jam.
Yeah, true.
And he can have aces, kings, and be like whatever. This is just 70k more. He's not gonna be folding aces or an 8. If he has ace 8, he's not gonna be folding it.
Yeah. All right, here we are on the final table, and right now, I believe the big blind is a crazy guy that we will battle with later on. And he will provide lots of interesting situations, ICM situations.
You said you have to stream at some point, right?
Yeah, but I can start like somewhat later, so don't worry. I believe we will just like finish this final table. It's just like I didn't play like many hands, so most of those hands that we still have left are just folding, so it's okay. I can be late because I have a challenge on Party Poker TV, but we start that stream at 7. I should start that stream at 6 on my channel and then move to Party Poker TV. But if I don't start the stream on my channel, it's fine. I can just start at 7. So, like once we are on the final table, like I have 20-ish big blinds. They have 20 something big blinds, and I just go for the open shove.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, especially with the 4-5 big blind shorty there.
All right, nothing happened here. I am trying with my bigger stack to bully everybody around. Here I just range bet, I guess.
Yeah. Very good.
And here on the turn, once we hit that 7, I guess we are going to try to just showdown it.
Yeah, you still have showdown against the 3. You could go for... I wouldn't hate a pot bet here against this Jack X either. But a lot of the times he's gonna have Jack X and diamonds. So I would prefer the bet if it's ace and diamonds, Jack and diamonds, 3 in spades, because then we actually get value from a 3 in diamonds, and we make him fold, let's say, Jack 5 and hearts.
Once again. I need to
No,
picture.
if the Jack and 3 suits are reversed,
Okay.
right? Because we beat a 3 in diamonds, and he's calling those, so we have a value bet, and we actually make him fold better Jack X. It's gonna fold
That's
Jack
what I
5.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here I'm more in the camp of checking back.
All right, and we got an ace on the river. He checks again, so we are winning versus some 3x. I believe he can go for some bluffs with some broadways that didn't hit the straight or something, but I don't know. I was even thinking for a second whether maybe we should like try to make him fold some Jack X.
No, not on this river.
Okay, went for the check.
He's also all the king eye flush draws, so.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Ace Jack suited, no action. I believe here nothing happens. Yeah, we are folding. No. Okay, okay, so the player 1 is the crazy guy from the previous table.
Okay.
And here we face 3-bet, I guess, versus this. I don't know. I went for the fold because that looked pretty strong to me. Yeah.
Very, very good fold.
Oof. Discipline.
Yeah. I mean, limp under the gun, ISO raise under the gun. This just looks very strong. Even though he's a chip leader, you should not get too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe they'll like try to punish those medium stacks on the final tables, even though they could. But in practice, I'm not sure if that happens often enough. So fold. I mean, maybe I could ask you the question: what are the hands that we're actually calling? I believe those will be some.
Wow, like
hands.
how fast did it go to four-handed?
I know, it was crazy because just this crazy guy was just like knocking out everybody, which was pretty sweet. So I know that like this end of the tournament will go like super fast. That's why I didn't want to stop. And pocket sevens. I went for the raise versus the limp. I was kind of concerned, what am I going to do if he shoves? Because, I mean, we just...
I guess you have seen a lot of showdowns up until now, and really depends if, you know, he has shown some hands he's not supposed to go in with, and if he has shown, like, he likes to gamble, I'm snapping off his jam here.
Oh, really? We don't care about those, like, heavy paid top 3 places. We are just playing our...
Ooh. Okay, so here's the thing, actually. Now the ICM becomes a little less important. Because now it's worth doubling up, because you have a bigger chance to grab the top price jumps, especially the first, right? If you're 9-handed, 8-handed, doubling up, that's where ICM is bigger, because the payout structure is a little more flat. And even if you, let's say, double up your 9-handed, 8-handed, 7, 6, 5th is still relatively small pay jumps. So it's more valuable just to survive, to take these small pay jumps, because doubling up is just not so important. But now 300, 400, like first and second and third are significant pay jumps. That's where it's also more valuable doubling up.
Wow, I thought like completely the opposite. It's crazy because I see like some ridiculous pay jump, which is like, I don't know, 30% of the buy-in. And I'm like, yeah, it's not a pay jump, it's nothing. I've learned another thing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's also, by the way, the same for money bubbles, is where... So when you're a very short stack, and by doubling up, you basically you're not improving your situation. So let's say you're 5, 6 big blinds, but by folding, you're always going to make it into the money. You're supposed to be incredibly tight.
Yeah.
Because then you just very likely, you just want to survive that first pay jump. Even if you double up, let's say the next pay jump is like in 100, especially in large fields. Chances are you still need to double up once more or twice in order to make the next pay jump, right? So for you, the doubling up is not very valuable. However, if you have 15 big blind stack, you can even go broke with a few more hands than with the shorter stacks, because for you, doubling up, then you have a shot to run deeper in the tournament to make it to next more pay jumps, right? So you have spots where it's like you want to be calling 10s plus or jacks plus for the a 6 big blind stacks. The 15 big blind stack might be calling off with 9s plus or 8s plus.
Oh, I got it completely wrong. Oh, I'm so excited. Some knowledge.
But also good video where I cover this topic, I can recommend you.
All right, I'll definitely watch it. I thought I know it, but I don't, which is like pretty awesome. All right, on the flop I went for the check because he's playing incredibly wide range, because he is crazy, and now he's just potting the river. I went for the fold. I mean,
You had a similar read earlier with what was it, pocket eights? You called him, right, and you were good.
yeah, that's why I was thinking that maybe I could actually go. I remember I took some time before I actually folded because I believe the jack would have lead the turn. I'm not sure if he's value betting an 8 or a 9 with this sizing, as crazy as he is. So I was even thinking that maybe I can go for the call, but I end up folding. Yeah, it's questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but later on he was like doing even more often this kind of stuff. So, like knowing this, I think I would go for. I would like tend to call those sevens. Yeah, but at that point I was still kind of like cautious. I checked the turn, and here we are on the river, and I went for a pretty big sizing. I think I could have gone for something even bigger to look even more bluffy. On the final table, I thought that my sizing is already big enough because he had like 13 big blinds. So I thought that this sizing will be still called, because if he calls and he loses, he still got some stack. I don't know. Maybe I'm leveling myself with this kind of logic. But he was thinking forever and end up calling me with the 5. But I don't know. Like maybe I could even go for something bigger. Maybe I'm missing value by not shoving those spots. I don't know.
No. You now when the ranges are wide, you have a benefit of betting small. He starts calling a 5. If you start betting bigger, you get more money from a queen. But like, don't worry too much. You shouldn't go like 1/3. You should go for like 2/3, 3/4 pot. All have their merits.
Okay.
That's not so relevant.
Okay. We move on. Okay, queens. We go for the free bet. He calls. I don't know, maybe I could even... No, he limps, right? No. Yes. And here on the...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
he raises his huge sizing again.
Yeah, for that like 3x. And here on the flop, I went for the check. He shoved, and I guess I'm folding. I don't know. Maybe I could like bet 1/3.
Yeah. No, we have to fold.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I could go for the 1/3 on the flop, but we don't even have a heart. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Just tilting, right? You finally have a hand against this guy.
And there is an ace on the flop. Great. Here I was also thinking that maybe I can go for some different sizing than shove. I mean, the guy on the cutoff has less than 20 big blinds, so I don't think I'm ever bluffing with some smaller raises. I think that the shove is the only answer, but I don't know.
I would just go for 240k. Like, literally commit myself on any, unless it's really ace king high.
Because there's still this crazy
I just
guy.
think this guy, if he has 7-6 here, he might fold against all, but just that's where I definitely choose some different sizing.
So I could even like ignore the guy who's short and just go for the free bet, just so the crazy guy will call and we can have a chance to actually get extra chips. So I knew I could have done something different. I knew it. All right. Here we just like need to fold, I guess.
Wow, yeah.
Which sucks, but yeah. That one. So we got like a 3x open pre-flop, and here on the flop he goes for the pot size bet. And I was actually thinking about folding because I believe in those situations we want to have a hand that can still improve, and we have a naked top pair. I know that we are playing versus an aggressive guy, but if we are calling this pot size bet on the flop, he will pot the turn because this is what he was doing all the time. So I was really considering folding.
No,
I don't know.
Fold,
but like,
never fold.
We
never
cannot
fold.
improve.
I'm not folding turn either unless he goes all in. And we call flop and turn and then river. Unless it's a very ugly river.
Okay.
Or very ugly turn. If it's jack and hearts or 10 and hearts, he keeps potting on overcard, then I might fold. But
I'm a net. I'm like, ICM. But I should have changed my mindset.
Yeah, but you still have 300k behind. I mean, this guy, he could be on queen deuce. You still have some split outs. A lot of split outs actually. So yeah.
So I made a mistake over here.
And it's not a mistake. Listen, like the flop.
But versus him.
Flop would be a mistake folding. Turn, okay, because you also have a huge edge. It's okay if go with your gut. I don't want to talk you out of this. This is where I would say, all right, let's move on. Yeah. It's a fine play. I would probably be calling once more, and I'm not saying I'm right here because you can't solve these spots. I cannot plug it into PySolver and tell you, okay, this is the strategy you want to be playing in theory. We can't play according to theory because this guy gives a fuck about theory.
Yeah.
So we want to be using logic, we want to be using experience, and logic doesn't always mean that it's the right play because this guy doesn't follow any logic apparently. So, and also my experience is different from yours. Doesn't mean that my experience in these spots is correct. So this is where we also can agree on disagreeing, which is not bad. And I'm even agreeing on saying that, honestly, I'm not even saying that the call is the right play on the turn.
All right. At least this is clear right now. It would be just like nasty, like he will just like shove all the rivers, and then here I am with the top pair. But overall, after we spoke about it, I think calling would be a thing. Okay, we go for
Nice
the
jam.
No action. We call king 9. We got this flop. It goes check. The turn once again it goes check. And here on the river, I feel like we just need to go for it. We got all of those beautiful.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah.
All right, and it worked, which is even better.
Yeah, that's a great bluff. I love it.
Okay.
That's remarkable that you find these spots. Good.
Thank you. Okay, let's find more of those spots. We're almost done. Here I got the shove. We just fold. That was a pretty cool hand. We flop a top pair, top kicker with the bottom flash draw. We just go for the half. He's not giving up. He's just like open shoving the turn with 5-8 basically. I cannot fold this, and we double up.
No.
Yeah, just no. After all of those weird situations.
What did he have? I'm very
He
curious.
had 8-5 offsuit, which I was like,
what?
Yeah, like it was a gut shot. What do you do with the gut shot here? Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, and it was pretty sweet because this way we got lots of chips. We're still not the chip leader, but we are getting there. King 9. We're just
He just
fold.
Oh
this.
my god, that's absolutely mental. What is happening?
Yeah, I know, it's getting even more crazy later on. He would just shove, lots of standard things. Oh, we actually busted that guy. Next one. 3x call. Oh, this is another ugly one because he pots. We don't fold.
Yeah.
And he pots again, and I guess we just need to fold. No, we still go for it. Oh!
Because we have so sick implied odds, and there's still some weaker flush draws he can have. He checks the river. We have, he can have king X. Like, he can have it fucking 10-5 suited. Like, I'm not folding this turn here.
Maybe I'm just
and
like...
The 300, and we still, doesn't, also chip-wise, it doesn't change our situation with second and chips.
True. We are still second, even if we call and, we fold the river, we are still good.
Yeah, we're fine. This is the spot where we just have to...
True. Oh, no.
We have to go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a mistake. Once again, I got totally lost with those pot size bets that he was using, and I shouldn't, especially as we just saw 8-5 offsuit on the showdown. So
I mean, we have to win, I don't know, 200k more chips when we hit the flush in order to justify the call in terms of the pot odds. So
yeah. Okay, next time I will call.
Yeah.
He will limp stop. And once again, I went for the call with the suited jack.
Yeah, you definitely want to be playing a lot of pots against this guy.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure whether we defend all the suited hands. I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here just randomly bets. Just give up. Some limp pot. Check. Check. And we get this by the showdown. Maybe I could have blocked at least the river, but I've decided.
Yeah, you can block turn or river. I would definitely value bet the river.
Or maybe even the turn because we can still get called by some single spades and.
Yeah.
I remember I folded this one, but we already established it. That's supposed to be a call. I was just annoyed that we always see
You're
that.
so deep with him, but on average you're gonna hit something where you can continue. You should not be afraid of his pot C bets because when you're just gonna scoop such a large part against him when you hit something.
I mean, at this point I was like, I'm gonna hit the 10 on the flop. He'll pot, I will call. On the turn I still need to call, and then on the river I'll have a terrible. I don't know why I was so pessimistic. I don't like it right now, but this is something that I need to work on. And here right now he's shoving on me, which is so annoying. I was not even sure whether I can re-raise him because he's responding so aggressively, and I have this good looking hand, and it feels like a waste right now, like raise and fold this.
If he shows me the 8-5, I'm never folding here.
Ah, damn it! So you don't really care that the guy on the big blind has less than 20 big
three,
blinds.
and also you play for, it's now the ICM becomes again like I don't want to say you can start gambling, but it definitely becomes more important to.
So like back in that moment, I was not aware of that shift in ICM. I totally understand it differently. I thought that we don't care at the beginning of the final table, and we care a lot at the end because we want to be heads up and we want to make sure that we are.
Yeah,
heads
but
up.
also one says the flatter the payout structure, the tighter you want to be. The top heavier the payout structure, the less important ICM becomes, right? If you, for example, have a WSOP final table, it's more top heavier. But now we're three-handed, and it's a very top heavy payout structure that is left, right? If you're 9, 8, 7, 6-handed, it's a rather flat payout structure, right? So that's basically reflecting what we are being taught or what we have learned with ICM.
Yeah. This is the big lesson for me from today's stream, that's for sure. Yeah. But this fault though. Yeah, we just go for the c-bet.
It's usually it's usually a fold under normal ICM circumstances, but I mean I see this guy just limp jamming his ace-4 off. He's like, she has been raising me so much.
I feel like a nit, and I thought I'm smart. Yeah. That's the funny one. Here I decided to not barrel, even though I think I should.
No, not against this guy.
Okay,
no.
We got lucky enough to hit the straight on the river, but like if he shows, I guess we are just calling because he can be crazy enough to just like.
Yeah, he could even jam his 4.
Yeah, or 8, because why not? Yeah, he happens to have ace deuce in that situation. We are almost at the end of this tournament. We are still having few hands left. All right, I went for the call. Like I don't think like we can free bet if he's just like shoving versus our any attempt of a move.
Yeah. And pot, what a surprise.
Yeah, I should have popped this one. That would be pretty hilarious, and I think he could have like leveled himself, but I went for the still big sizing. But right now I feel like I would love some pot size bet here.
Oh, it's okay.
Follows.
It's okay. I guess this guy, my goal is just to set up a sizing so I can jam the river.
So I already know that I made a mistake on the turn because I've decided to check, which for sure is a mistake because he's just never folding any 10x, 8x, 9x, all the gut shots, like just never fold. So this is a mistake. And if I could play this hand again, I would definitely bet super big and never fold versus a shove or anything. But that was a net, incredible net. Go for the value betting, he folds. Yeah, so I regret this hand.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Ace king once again. I was hoping to like get an action from the big, but I don't know. I don't like it. I should just play straightforward.
I'm 3-betting and hoping this guy jams.
Yeah. I should just get it in, and I'm like, no, ICM. Oh no, maybe I'll induce the big blind move. But no, right now I'm angry at myself. But yeah, we happen to hit the top.
It's good that we looked into it.
Yeah. And on this board, I went for the check raise because like.
Yeah.
And here I just shove. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could still like go for some smaller sizing, but
No.
Yeah, shove is the plan.
If he has ace jack, ace 8.
Yeah, he's just not folding, or even some 10-8 or whatever. All right, 12 hands left. We're almost there. No. We already got a heads up. And heads up was literally just a 5 hands. So I got the limp raise, call, just c-bet. I'm not sure if we can go for some 1/3 c-bet sizing. I don't know, maybe the sizings are messed up or not.
No, it's fine. No, it's absolutely fine.
On the given turn, I think we just go for the barrel. And once again, like all the questions that I have are around sizings. Is this one acceptable?
Yeah, we want to be, we try to target his 10x. I think against this guy, I'm just check calling the turn. I mean, I don't think he's folding a 7-8 ever, and he doesn't have a lot of 3x. He's gonna have a lot of 10x. So
check calling the turn.
I just avoid these big bluffs. Yeah, check call, of course.
So check call would be better than bet.
I mean, unless he bets ridiculously large, but even against a pot bet, we can check call. Yeah, I just don't see so much folding. I don't want to run big bluffs against a guy like him.
This way. Yeah, I was so in love with my hand. I was like, oh my god, I have so many outs. I can improve. I can just do everything. And yeah, maybe actually check call is a better approach. And think about it. Yeah, and I went for the bluff actually on the river, which I'm not really sure right now versus like this profile of the player.
Yeah, I'm not so happy about this bluff.
So we should rather like go for more passive line versus player like him when we have lots of equity.
Yeah. Or at least in position, just, I don't mind the turn barrel itself, but like I know already I would not bluff the river, so then why should I bet the turn? I like the flop bet, but then I would just.
But we're talking just because he's himself versus some normal player.
Yeah, of course. Whereas a normal player, it's fine.
Okay. So this is the.
Against him, I would just literally wait for good hands and getting paid out.
Well,
that's poker I would play against him.
Luckily it worked, but yeah, it's pretty important.
You should show him. You should show him the bluff as well. That makes him probably super tilted.
That's true. As evil as it is, that would actually be super helpful overall in this heads-up dynamic. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Okay, so that was pretty ballsy, but luckily it worked. Okay, simple stuff. King 10, I raise, he folds. Oh, this one is pretty weird and nasty. This is where I completely messed up the SPRs and everything. I went for the free bet, which I think in a heads up is all right. I'm not sure. Once again, I'm not sure about the sizing, so if this one is not correct.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, sorry. So on the flop, I just go for the c-bet, and I went for the 1/3 because it's pretty dry, and he's not folding that much, so I don't believe like pumping this pot makes sense. I still believe we can make him fold some crazy hands, but I'm like, once again, I'm not really sure, and like I'm creating.
I would probably also again just check the flop, like I would play very small with poker, maybe bet small. I would also check the turn. In theory also, I think we don't want to barrel this hand. You have some 5x you can barrel with. I would just be very, very cautious here.
So is this another situation where we could play this way versus a normal player, but just because he's a crazy guy, we should rather just like change that strategy? All right. He calls, and now I'm like, I really don't know what to do, because I realized that he has like 700k. The pot is 2 million, whatever. And I was so mad at myself. I didn't recognize that he has 23 big blinds behind. The pot is 60 big blinds or something like this. And I was like, what do I do? Like, do I actually bluff? But we already established that I should have even just check flop, check turn. And but just talking about the SPRs, like I feel like I shouldn't bet this big, because right now he has like no chips and the pot is so big. Like I believe he just needs to call with everything, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think we hardly have any folding. Maybe the occasional 4-5. That's again, like, we don't need to talk about the river, because I would not barrel this turn. We want to have a spade in our hand, maybe ace 10 with ace in spades, or 10 in spades is much better. Then we have an easier time bluffing on the river now. We don't block any spades. We block a lot of his folds. He's never going to have ace queen given the hand, but he is going to have a lot of ace 4, ace 3, which we block. Or even ace deuce, which we're trying to fold out. So I think this is just a really bad hand to bluff with.
Yeah. But okay. I realized that on the river. But yeah, somehow we end up winning this because he had 7-5, which is that will be a good content for my Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, it was wonderful. I was loving my life. I felt like it's my birthday, and it's just like giving away all the chips. And yeah, this is a fun hand. It's like whatever. Yeah, so it was crazy, but I feel like I'm getting lost a lot with the sizings.
Well, how did you win the king? Did you have,
he had king 5. Wait a second. A raise. He free bet. I just shoved. I was like, I don't know. I'm not buying this. And he had king 5 offsuit. So it was pretty easy. Yeah, it was pretty easy. But I like after that ace 10 offsuit, I was like, oh no, like I'm getting lost a lot, and I certainly need to work around these situations. And like this king 10 offsuit as well, I felt like I'm playing a correct poker in here, but it would be correct versus a different kind of opponent, not versus him. So so that's pretty helpful to emphasize that. All right, so that's all the hands. And wow, thank you so much. Like, I'm really happy about this king 10 suited spot, and there are like plenty other spots that I thought I know, but I don't really know. So that was pretty eye-opening, and I want to say thank you for your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, thank you for having me.
I
I sent you over some videos that I think would really help you, and yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, I see them. Yeah, I see them
Yeah.
on the Discord. So yeah, guys, like right now, Razor Edge and HeyMonia teamed up, and I'll be promoting Razor Edge. I'll be studying the Razor Edge materials, and you will see me improving. You will see me crushing those crazy players in the morning fields. I'm pretty excited about this, and this is just the beginning. All right.
Awesome.
Like I said earlier, right now I'll be going live here on this channel, but I need to run a delay because we'll be playing a poker session. So I'll see you guys in 5 minutes-ish, and then we'll move to Party Poker TV. Once again, thank you, Ben, so much for your time. It was super educational, and I'm pretty excited about our collaboration. Let's go.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.